Is she Tom Corshell today?
I am.
Okay.
Somebody's got to be, right?
Good. How are you?
Good.
You got a new job, right?
Yeah.
Good for you.
I'll have to get up to speed. You know, Visser was a.
Yeah, you're a little better looking than him. Thank
I
God. So, okay.
appreciate that. With age.
Yeah.
Age.
All right, so I guess going into a big one this weekend. How are the guys looking? How are things going after? I mean, felt good to probably get a match under your belt last weekend.
It was obviously really important for us to get something under our belt, to get off the scale and wrestle in a dual meet situation. So I think that's only going to help us. Obviously, the University of Iowa had the same exact look just on Sunday because they competed against Army. So, it's, right now, it's why you go to college if you're a kid in Iowa, especially, is to get this opportunity. And the guys on this team and the guys on their team that are not from Iowa understand just the bigness of the Iowa State duel. So, super exciting week for all of us.
What has Tyson shown you, and what do you expect out of him?
I think Tyson's really had a great start. I think everybody that watches can see how talented he is, and just a young kid. And for a kid, that grew up in Hawaii, let's face it, there's probably not a lot of big stages in Hawaii like the stage he's getting ready to wrestle on, and he seemed to handle those stages pretty well. So, I think, I don't know what they're going to do. It looks like right now that they're probably not going to wrestle Spencer Lee. So, I think on paper he's probably going to be the favorite going into that bout, or else at least a pick-em or a toss-up. So that could be a good match to start the night off.
Can you talk about what you've seen from Joel Devine in the past 2 weeks, especially this past weekend going 2-0?
I think Joel's the same thing. I think his stock or whatever has really went up. I really like the way he's wrestling. He wrestled the Nebraska kid, really tough, who's a top 5 kid. And I think he dominated this past weekend. So I know he's really excited about the opportunity no matter who steps out there for Iowa. But, I think he can compete with anybody.
You kind of talked about the challenge of not only having Iowa as like an in-state rival, but them being defending national champions, coming in Ames, and then the number 1 team in the country.
Well, I think that's the excitement for us right now. It's nice to get a chance to feel the number 1 ranked team in the nation, and we just happen to be down the road a couple hours. So I know my guys are excited, and they're expecting a brawl, and it's going to be a fight, and we know what we're facing.
Having been a part of this duel for in one way, shape, or form for a long time,
yeah.
Does it ever feel the same? Does it always feel different, or when the crowd hits a certain point, you go, oh man, I remember when it was like that, at this thing. I mean,
well, as an athlete, you're only engaged really for your warm up period and your competition, your particular match and your cool down. As a coach, you're engaged the whole time, so it's a little more stressful being the coach, but at the same time, it's fun. And I know there'll be a lot of excitement in there. We're going to relish the role of being the underdog, and it is what it is there right now, and we're going to relish that, and that's where the opportunity lies.
What are some key battles that are going on in your room that are going to, have a lot to say about who goes?
Well, we have to figure out what's going on at 149. We've got to figure out what's going on at 165, especially right now. Those are probably the 2 weights that are probably up right now, up for grabs. Like everybody, we've got a few injuries right now, just nothing major, which is really good. But we've got a few nagging injuries. So, it's Tuesday now. We hope we'll have a little clearer picture who we're going to wrestle Saturday. Some of it's going to come down to, who's the best guy, and some of it's going to come down to who's the healthiest guy. But right now, knock on wood, we're pretty healthy.
How does having a match like this early in your season? I mean, obviously you guys are always working to March, but how does having a test like this early kind of help set the tone for the rest of the season?
I think it gives us a point to give us an idea maybe where we stand nationally, because obviously they got a lot of nationally ranked guys, to see where we're at shape-wise, just to see where we are early in the season. So I like having an early season test, so this is perfect timing for us.
What's it like for you navigating having Ian Parker and Jarrett at 149, especially going up against someone like Iowa?
Well, it's still early in the season. We don't know exactly what's going to happen there. Both of them have really wrestled well. Ian's been a little dinged up, but, he's going to train this week, and we're going to see how he's going to feel. So we expect him to be 100% this weekend if he has a good week of training. There's some things to be figured out there, but we're going to have, whenever that's said and done, we're going to have a pretty good guy at 149, and then we've got some options if we need to move some guys around.
And then how are you really getting your guys mentally prepared for the atmosphere that's going to be on Sunday, being that there's probably going to be a lot more attendees than usual with Iowa being an in-state rival?
Well, hopefully that's what gets them up in the morning. I've always said that the great guys like the packed arenas, and I hope we got 10 guys that just relish a packed arena, because if we do, it's going to be a heck of a match, and it's going to be a fight, and we know exactly what we're signing up for, and I'm sure they know what they're signing up for, so it's going to be a great college evening.
Was there an advantage for you as you guys prep and watch film and just train, having had Iowa also face Army on this past weekend?
I don't think it was an advantage for either one or the other, really. I mean, I think the most important thing of the past weekend was just going through the whole weigh-in process and the whole preparation process in terms of getting out there 1 hour. If you're one of the first guys up there, getting out there 1 hour and really feeling good out there and being able to push for 7 minutes. And so that's going to be a factor all year long, but especially in the beginning of the year. You have to do those little things right so you can compete really hard. And sometimes the best wrestler doesn't win. It's the guy that's prepared the most. So we got to control what we can control this week. And I call it the little things. We got to control the little things really well this week away from the room. And that's going to help us.
What's a guy like David Carr, who's used to being on the big stage and used to doing well on the big stage, just do for you team-wide as he's progressed from young guy in the program to truly a leader in addition to national champion?
Well, I hope the young guys and even the old guys, because David's still fairly young. He's got 3 years of eligibility left, even though it seems like everybody's been around forever because of COVID. But I think just watching David's preparation, you can pick up a lot, and just how much of a professional he is and how focused he is. Even today, if you watch him come in, it's Tuesday, and you watch him get ready to live wrestle. It's a process, and it's a good process. It's okay. We got to scrap at 4 o'clock today, and so whoever grabs a hold of me is going to get a real feel. And that's something that you can't teach. But young guys can see it and say, okay, if I want to be at that level, this is maybe what I need to do.
Would you say the same thing about Marcus Coleman, like his effect too?
I think so. I think Marcus is getting that way too. I think we need to get Marcus to kind of open up a little sooner because that guy's talented. But I do think right now Marcus believes he can beat anybody in the nation, and I'm starting to see that. And when he really believes that and gets to that point, he's going to be competitive with everybody in the nation because, he's very talented.